Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and you join me today in the Nintendo Life kitchen that totally isn't just my own. And we are here today to show you how to make a Nintendo NX Rumour. And this generally applies to pretty much any Rumour you want to put out, or leak if you prefer. And today we're going to be doing it primarily using one of these, a potato. It's pretty straightforward, but of course the rule is when it comes to any sort of leak or rumour that anything goes. So don't think you have to follow this to the letter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our potato, nice big knife like this to get as straight a cut as possible, and we're going to cut straight down the middle like that. So we've got two nice big halves of potato. Generally you want to go for the one with the flattest base. I think I'm going to go for this bit. We can just sort of get rid of that. Ooh, it's loud. And we're just going to take a little bit off here as well. Not too much, only a sliver. Just a nice little piece like that. Throw that away as well. And now this sits nice and flat. So that's a nice little bonus bit there. So it's not going to be rolling all around the place. But that is not all that we have to do, because of course that at the moment, it just looks like a piece of potato, and we've got to convince people that this is an NX controller. So we're going to take one of these. It's nothing special. It's just a piece of tortilla. In fact, it's a whole tortilla. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a piece around it just by taking a smaller knife. You can use the bigger knife, but really it's easier with a small knife. And just cut all the way around and essentially trace the piece of potato. So you want to get a piece of tortilla that is the same shape as the face of our potato. Not that potatoes generally have faces. So we need to take that off like that. Make sure you get all the bits around the edge. It's very important. Precision is key whenever it comes to any sort of leaks and things like that. So around we go like that. Lovely job indeed. And we should end up with a piece of tortilla, if it comes off, which is the same shape and size as our piece of potato. And it sits on there just nicely like that. And there, just get rid of this stuff here. And that sits there rather beautifully. And it's looking quite good at the moment, but we're not done yet, because at the moment it seems to be sticking, but when we start heating up, it might start sliding about all over the place. So we're going to make a little paste to basically keep this in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pestle and mortar. Make sure you put this on a wooden surface like a chopping board like I have here, otherwise you do risk damaging your work surfaces. And I'm just going to take glug of oil. This is just standard olive oil. You don't have to bother with extra virgin or anything like that, because this is just basically an adhesive. I'm going to take a bit of black pepper as well, and maybe a bit of smoked paprika, a bit of cayenne, and chuck in a few cumin seeds as well, just like that. Now, because we've thrown cumin seeds in here, it is quite important that you really do have to bash it up to really make sure that you get the flavour of those cumin seeds out. So I'm just going to mash all this up, and I'll come back to you. Right, okay, we have got our paste now. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. Now we're going to spoon a little, and actually no, you know what? Nintendo nearly always has a surprise in store for anything new that it does. So I'm going to take a small knife. I'm just going to do a little bit of crazy freelance, whatever I like. Freestyle, not freelance. What am I talking about? And just cut a little piece out of the potato like that. Just get rid of that. I'm going to take an ordinary garlic clove. Doesn't have to be too big. I'm just going to pop that in the middle. So that'll be a nice surprise for anyone who gets their hands on this controller. So now what we need to do is we need to adhere our bit of tortilla. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the paste, run it all the way around. You don't need an awful lot, because otherwise it'll start oozing out of the edges, and you do not want that, believe me. Nobody's going to believe an oozy NX leak. So just spread that around like that. You take your piece of tortilla and you just place it on top like that, and that should definitely stay in place. Now look at that, you cannot ask for much more than that, but we are not done just yet, because we have a little bit of extra detail to put in, because nobody's just going to believe that as it is. So what we want to do is we want to take one of these, a gherkin. You don't have to go with a gherkin or pickle, as you know them in America. I'm just going to take the small knife again, and I'm just going to make essentially a few coins, if you like. Try and make them the same size if you can, the same thickness, but it's not too big of a deal, to be honest. Nobody's really going to be looking. You just want to place those. In fact, no, I'm going to use a little bit more of the paste, just to make sure they definitely stay where they're supposed to. You just need to place those on the top of the tortilla, and you've got your analog sticks. And there we are, that is basically it. We just need to do one last thing. We need to put it into NeoGAF. So what we need to do is we need to take a baking tray, pop that on there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of black pepper on top, maybe a little squidge of oil. Just over the top like that. In fact, no, you know what? I'm going to top it with just a little bit of smoked paprika, just to give it a little bit of an edge. Just like that. A real earthiness. That really helps to carry any sort of rumour like that. So you just need to bung this into NeoGAF now for about 20 minutes or so. And wait until that's done. Ho, 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 ho. Here we go. Now that's been in there for about 20 minutes on NeoGAF, just stewing nicely. And here we have the result, but it's not quite finished yet because as with any leek, the key thing more than anything is presentation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, pop this to one side. Now do be careful because this, it will be hot indeed. As with any good rumour, it's always got to start off hot. Now, what you're going to need to do is you're going to basically think outside the box. Try and go for anything that will make it look as convincing as possible. In fact, I think I'm going to go for a sort of an artsy-fancy. I'm going to serve it on a board, I think, a chopping board. So I'm just going to pop that. In fact, no, I'll tell you what, before I do that, I'm going to start off with one of these, just an ordinary cabbage leaf. I'm just going to place that on there and very quickly, there we are, there we go. Pop that on there like that, because nothing is as convincing as a cabbage leaf. Nothing says Nintendo made this more than a cabbage leaf. So I'm just going to place that on there, but now we are not quite done yet. I'm also going to use a little bit of the gherkin just there, just put that to one side, because that just sort of shows maybe sort of a messy desk environment where an NX controller may well be. I might even drizzle a little bit of this paste on top, just a smidgen, just on like that, just a little bit here and there. Go over the cabbage leaf as well. Just give it a little bit extra flavour, you know. And, right, no, I think that's about done. No, I tell you what, I've forgotten the most important part. When it comes to any sort of leak or rumour or anything like that, you have to do one little thing. Everybody is always going to take it with a little pinch of salt like that. So you just want to drop that over the top like that, sprinkle it. You can add a little bit more if you think maybe it needs it. So you just keep going, put it on to taste, to be honest. You can just sort of, sometimes it needs a bit more, depending on the rumour, you know, just sort of maybe keep going for a little bit longer than, you know. Generally, when it comes to, you know, leaks, when it comes to salt, more is more. So just sort of keep going as much as you think is necessary, and when you finally reach the point where you think you may have, there we go, maybe just a bit more. There we are. Now that's about as much salt as I think anybody's going to need to believe this sort of thing. But there you have it. That is one delightful looking NX leak, though I say so myself. I think that's rather marvellous, and I think we may have created a new internet sensation. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you cook up a storm with that subscribe button, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye bye.